Welcome to the Truth About Social Ads podcast, where we talk about everything related to social media ads and give you the truth about what's happening in the world of ads.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Truth About Social Ads. Very excited for today's episode. I think it's going to be a good one, very unique. We have Chris Porter today, who's our guest, and he is the president and co-founder of GOHUNT, a technology-driven hunting company built to help people discover, plan, and prepare more successful adventures. Chris has a background in online marketing, user experience, and software-enabled products. He's helped GoHunt grow from an idea in 2013 to a full ecosystem spanning research, tools, maps, gear, retail, memberships, and original content. Chris is super passionate about building customer-obsessed teams, simplifying complex decisions for hunters, and empowering people to live a more adventurous life. Hey, Chris, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being on. I appreciate it. Wanted to have you on because number one, your story's super unique, but I don't hear a lot of marketing podcasts talking about hunting stuff. So I think it'll be cool to chat with you. I know you have an extensive marketing background as well, so we'll chat a little about that in the episode. But yeah, introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are. Of course, I just introed you, but would love to hear about things in your own words, and we'll dive into GoHunt. I think it would be sick.
Yeah, man. The first 10 years of my career were all online gaming, and so learned a lot there. Had a great run. Worked on a lot of exciting projects and different brands. I worked for a brick and mortar casino company here in Vegas, and my co-founder worked there. And we just kind of got together. I had zero hunting background. You can see it in my
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like you can see in my room, obviously a hunter.
Yeah.
Now, but like I grew up in Orange County, California, like surfing. I always loved the outdoors. I was never like a huge gun enthusiast or anything like that. I was totally brand new to the industry. But we'd go to lunch, and he was a huge hunter, and he would just talk about all these complexities of applying for these states and all these rules and the regs. And
Yeah.
this is, 2014, 2015, he's going through magazines still.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's where he's getting his information. That's where he's getting his data. There was no ESPN.com. There was no community digitally built yet. And, he'd be so stressed out applying. And once he started explaining to me, hunting, especially in the West, it's highly regulated in every state.
Of course.
Yeah, very, very different. And so, you'll build up these they're called preference points, which is basically loyalty points. And every year you apply and you don't succeed, you get a point.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of gives you better odds to draw a tag next year. And
Got it.
You'll get all these points built up. And so it's really a lot of time and money that you've invested. And then when you get the emotion is built up, right? You don't want to make a bad decision. You don't want to burn 5 points, which is a lot of money in 5 years of your life, on a bad elk tag, or you draw the elk tag, you succeed, but you don't prepare properly. And so there's a really high barrier to entry I learned in hunting. And so really it was just our mission early was just to kind of reduce that barrier to entry, empower people, give them information.
Mm-hmm.
And we always said we were going to build a bunch of tools. You got to pick up the tools and use them, but we're going to give you all these great tools.
Now, so explain really quick, because some users or some listeners probably won't know what a tag is and like all that stuff. What is a hunting tag? I mean, I know what it is. I'm not a huge hunter either, but I do hunt with my brother, and he's from Colorado, and all that. So explain to people what a tag is and what you have to do to apply for a tag.
Yeah. I mean, so the state wildlife agencies, they want to manage the population, because there's a healthy amount of elk or deer, whatever we're talking about, that a landscape can hold.
Mm-hmm.
And as human encroachment or whatever, think of a mountain range. There's only X percent. There's only so many deer or elk that a mountain range can support.
Right.
And so they use distributing tags, and they have biologists. It's literally science. and that's how they manage the population. And so,
Mm-hmm.
some areas might be really hard to get a deer tag. Other areas it's really quite easy. Sometimes they have way too many deer, and so they oversubscribe and they make it over the counter, and they want you to go out and hunt.
Mm.
So the agency will kind of reward you for following kind of their path of what their goals and what they're trying to accomplish in the different areas.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, to answer your question, a tag is back east you can just go to Ace Hardware or Bass Pro Shop or wherever and just buy a tag, and the hard part there is finding the private land. Out west, there's tons of public land, which is amazing, beautiful country, but the tags are harder to get. And so a tag is the right to harvest an animal in a given area on certain dates with a certain weapon.
Right. Okay. Yeah, got it. So that basically gives you ability, and you have to apply for it. And so are you actually applying for the tag on the app as well, like on GoHunt?
Look at you, future state.
Yeah.
That's the one click. That's definitely on the roadmap. But
okay.
No. So what we do is we give you the right information to apply yourself, and we'll link to the state agency.
Got it.
And so how to find the tags, and then if you don't draw the tag, what over-the-counter opportunities are there? And then about a year ago, we realized that, hey, no matter how many tools we create, it's still pretty complex. And so we have like a white glove concierge program now where you get a coach or an advisor, consultant, whatever you want to call it, which will actually apply for you, or we'll get on one-on-ones like this and start to talk about a plan for you and just help build confidence up.
Okay, cool. So, and because I know in the hunting world, it like you were saying, it's complicated. Like, it's so for a new hunter like me, I could go to GoHunt and accomplish a lot of different things. What exactly, like when you guys are talking to people about your product, like what's probably like the number one thing that a new hunter or avid hunter would be attracted to use the app?
Yeah, so the biggest challenge in our entire industry is the barrier to entry is pretty high. So we get what we call adult onset hunters. You'll get the typical path of somebody, their dad was a hunter or grandfather and kind of taught them and passed it down generation. And that's pretty normal. But for the growth of the industry, for the health of the industry, you need adult onset hunters to come in. And so, guys like Rogan and other people like that have really inspired people to eat, organic meat and live this adventurous life. And I actually think the more we rely on AI and technology, the more primal we're going to want to be and get out. And experiences are huge right now. Gyms, wellness, like people want to experience things, especially coming out of COVID. And so it's been great for hunting, but it's still, there's this barrier to entry, right? You got to know how to use a weapon. You have to get hunter education. Then you have to know what you're looking for and how to achieve it. And so, what we did is really similar to like what the Zillows and the Redfins did to real estate.
Got it.
15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
We aggregate a ton of information. We visualize a lot of it on a map and then let you kind of filter with criteria that's important to you, right? Where you live, you might be interested in California, Nevada, Idaho, but you're not going to be interested in South Dakota, North Dakota. That's a little too far.
Yeah. Too
and
far.
So everyone has, and you might be interested in deer, not elk, or vice versa. And so everyone kind of has their interest. Maybe you're interested in only bow hunting. Maybe you're interested in just rifle hunting. So you're able to filter by the criteria that's important to you, and we show you results of what you can accomplish this year. Here's your opportunities.
Yeah.
And then, so that's all kind of what we call is during the tag phase of acquiring a permit for the year, right?
Okay, got it.
That's really Q1 and Q2 of every year. What we're doing for people right now is like, okay, I have a tag that arrived in the mail. Now what? Right? Because just like a lot of enthusiast markets, like the stuff's expensive, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so, it's like road biking or surfing or whatever, so you might have an elk tag in Idaho. Cool. But you paid $800 for the tag. You're going to take a week away from work and family. And the last thing you want to do, the biggest fear we all have is to show up and be like, most people are hunting for like, a week, 7 or 8 days. Most people can't afford to take more time away from family. And your biggest fear is it takes you 3 or 4 days to figure something out.
Right.
Into your time.
Yes.
And so it's called e-scouting. And so we have a lot of content behind the paywall We have a product that helps you visualize on a map and still starts to help you prepare, because you need to have a plan. Hey, I'm going to hunt this elevation. I'm going to camp here, or I'm going to park my truck here. I'm going to backpack in. You got to have the right gear. So we have gear lists like on Google Docs. We have
Well, that's good.
all kinds of stuff to help
Yeah.
guide you and give you the confidence. And then our white glove service, you actually set up one-on-one e-scouting calls, and you're like, okay, I got this tag. What's the best plan of attack? Like, are we hunting around burns? What's the weather do we think going to be like? Because the
Right.
elk or deer will be at certain elevations depending on the time of year and the weather.
Got it. Yeah.
It's exciting because when you accomplish the goal, when you harvest an animal or even just see animals and have a great hunt, it's one of the most rewarding things on the planet. It's hard to describe how it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so much hard work, but stakes are high. Like, you got to be prepared. You got to train. There's just a lot that goes into it.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say too, because not only is your app helping guys with like just the logistics, planning, all that stuff, but, and I'm glad you said that, because dude, hunting is like, if you're not used to hiking and like, dude, it's tough, right? Like, I remember the first time I went with my brother's just like cruising along, at like 10,000 feet, just jamming up the side of these mountains and stuff. I'm like, dude, like, I'm in better shape than he is, but I can't even keep up with him. Right? Like, so it's a different, like, how do guys ask you questions like does your app say, hey, you should probably hike X amount of miles a day up to the trip, like, stuff like that too?
Big time. That's like, we'll have modules, like content modules around training. So what you just talked about is elevation training.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're at sea level, and so it's really hard for you to train. What I would say quickly is, like, you want to go to your local gym, you want to hit the Stairmaster pretty hard, and you want to wear weight.
Right.
Because when you're hunting, whether you're backpacking or not, you're probably got some, if you're day hunting, you got 20 to 25 pounds on your back.
Mm-hmm.
If you're backpack hunting, you got, depending for how many days, you have 50 plus pounds. It hits different.
Yeah, well, and not only that, but let's say you bag an animal your second day, you've got to harvest that thing and get it out too, right? Which is add extra weight to whatever you're doing, know. So
I always say that if everyone just went on a backpack elk hunt once in their life, I think they would come back. They would appreciate their bed more. They would appreciate the food on the table.
Yes,
they wouldn't be complaining about dumb things that don't matter.
Yep,
right? Because this is how people lived, thousands of years ago. It's pretty incredible. It's a very humbling experience. It's special. It's special.
Yeah, well, I think I told you I lived in Colorado for 5 years, and growing up in California, you see some deer, you go to Yosemite, like, you see a bear or like whatever, right? And then I moved to Colorado, and I'm literally like, I'll never forget this. Like, our second month there, it was starting to get cold, like end of October-ish. And I was driving along a road. We lived at about 6,800 feet, right, at our house. And I'm driving along, beautiful, it's nice, got some rolling hills and stuff. And I see something in the corner of my eye, and it was pretty big. And I'm like, man, what was that? And I slow down. It was just dusk. So it was just getting dark. And I saw a bull elk for the first time. And I just stopped, and I was like, holy shit, dude. Like, and when it was funny because it had its head down, it was kind of grazing. And when it has lifted his head up, and I have a Ford F-250, diesel, and it's, lifted a few inches, like the bottom of its mouth was like at the roof of my cab. I was like, holy crap, dude. Like, this thing is humongous. You don't realize how big an elk is, like a bull elk. And dude, and then it just quietly just kind of walked away, huge antlers. It was the coolest thing. Like, and again, I'm not a big hunter, but that was probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Right?
They're such beautiful animals. And to your point, they are giant. Like, huge. You don't understand how big they are. Depending on how old they are, you're talking 600 to 800 pounds on the hoof.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. I mean, we're talking like bigger than horses, and or like about the same size. You don't really, again, you see like a white-tailed deer, like, oh, they're kind of small, but then you see an elk, dude. And then we were hiking up in the mountains in Buena Vista, Colorado, and we saw a big moose, right? Like, and you don't realize that. Like, such cool animals to see. You see rams up there as well. Like, there's royal gourds. They're just walking around everywhere, and it is. I've never hunted elk or anything. I've just hunted deer before, but I can only imagine, like, hunting an elk or a moose or a ram or something, and harvesting it and everything. How, number one, just to get to where they are is tough, right? Harvest the animal, and you're right. I mean, after doing that with a deer, dude, I'll never complain about going to the store and buying some grass-fed beef,
that,
right?
that's exactly right. There's
Like,
there's like if you go harvest a bull elk, you pull it off that mountain. It'll take multiple days to get it off the mountain, depending on how much help you have. And
yeah,
when you get home and you're serving that, by the way, they're very tasty. It's
yeah,
just really lean beef,
yeah,
and you can't overcook it because there's not a lot of fat. But you slice up some back straps and serve your family on a Sunday night,
yeah,
barbecue.
right.
It's
Knowing that you harvest, killed the animal, harvested it, and all that. Yeah,
it's one of the coolest experiences there are. And
yeah,
your kids are like, "What is this?" And you're telling them the story, and you're showing them pictures. It's pretty cool.
that's awesome. Yeah. Now, I also want to chat real quick about, so you mentioned something kind of when we first started was there, I think there's a bit of a misconception in like the hunting slash gun world is you don't have to be a gun fanatic to be a hunter, right? Like, your weapon, like if you know that weapon, you know what to do. Like, you don't have to have a safe full of 100 guns to be like, yeah, dude, I'm a hunter, right? So talk maybe a little about that. Do you guys offer some expertise and some guidance on what rifle or what weapon you need when you go hunting, what you do for, especially for a newer hunter, for example?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, you definitely don't need to be like a gun nut. You need to be proficient with. You need one good rifle, and there's various calibers. It's a highly debated topic of like
Yeah.
what's the most versatile caliber for all species. But you need to get, the most important thing is you get really proficient with that gun, and you get just very comfortable and you shoot with it. Um, but you don't have to be some crazy, decade long experienced gun owner. You just got to put in some work, and a couple months you can get really comfortable by just going to the range a couple times, a month. And there's tons of YouTube content on like how to train, and you want to sit prone, you want to lay down at the range, you want to sit, Indian style. There's just different seats because when you're in the field, you don't get like the perfect shot. Sometimes have the gun on your backpack. Sometimes you're able to lay down. There's just various setups and things like that. But no, you just need to get really comfortable with one rifle.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so going back to, like you had mentioned earlier, back in, I think when I was reading up and kind of doing my research on you, this came up in 2013, like your idea, right? But how did you go from, okay, I see a need, like, I'm out to lunch with my boss. He's like doing all these, telling me about hunting, doing all this stuff, right? There's a lot of complexity, especially with like the states, dealing with all the state regulations. Like, dude, that alone can be a freaking nightmare, right? I know that because former policeman and dealing with all the crap there. Um, what, like, what drove you to actually do this, right? Like, everybody has ideas, and obviously you're a entrepreneurial type guy and everything, but like, what was it that took it from idea to inception?
Yeah. So a couple things. One, when I looked at like the total addressable market, there's 15 million people that hunt, so it's a solid market size, and there were really no solutions, and there was a lot of problems that need to be solved. So it was like, why don't we solve them? And
Hmm.
frankly, I was young, and if I thought through it more, I probably would have been more scared. But
Yeah,
just sometimes ignorance is bliss. And so
that's funny.
we started kind of building it. We were able to kind of keep our day jobs and do this on the side for a while, so
Okay.
we were able to kind of prove out some market fit before
Yeah.
you fully jumped in head first. But once you start hiring people, you owe it to them that you better be dedicated. So when we started making those first key hires, it was game on. We just focused really on solving very specific problems, and I didn't know what a technical roadmap was. I didn't know these things, but that's
Sure.
what we were doing.
Hmm.
And then the roadmap expanded and expanded. When I look at our product offering today versus what we launched with 10 years ago, it's pretty wild, right? We launched with like one very specific thing for 5 states. Now we have 10 things for 10 states, or more than that actually. And it's, we got into mapping and uh, draw odds and I mean, the filtering product wasn't even, that was 2 years in before we came up with that, which is
Wow.
really, that's our flagship product now.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just, solving problems and reducing the complexity of those state regs was a lot of the early problems. And we
Yeah.
had the luxury of being first mover from a tech, like no one was doing anything digitally.
Mm-hmm.
One of the nice things about enthusiast markets is they tend to be like, you can look at other industries with bigger TAMs and you can see, oh, look what they're doing. Like Facebook and Instagram. Like no one was running ads, no one was doing anything like that in our world. And it was like, man, like they were starting to catch on. And so it's like we were pretty good on Instagram very early. Instagram was like brand new to hunting. Instagram had been around, I don't know, at least 4 or 5 years at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So like it wasn't this like brand new thing. You could look at like fitness industry. There's a bunch of industries that like we're doing some cool things. So we take tactics that we see in other industries, and apply them to ours. And so the enthusiast markets are really nice because when you solve a problem for them, you get so much grassroots organic marketing. You get so much
Mm.
referral marketing. Like
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. So when you guys when you got to the point where you wanted to bring it to market, like were you running ads or were you just relying on just like organic stuff, or how did that, maybe switching into kind of the marketing side of things because that's what the podcast is about, but like what what was that first thing that you guys started doing on the marketing side that you were like, "Oh, okay, this is working."
yeah, so we didn't do digital stuff for a few years.
Mhm.
We were very big on content from the start. We always viewed content as like content and community were flagship kind of things for us. And so no one was really competing digitally on organic content. So we did a lot of organic content. We were pretty active on YouTube early on, very
Mhm.
active on Instagram early on, and just we took people behind the scenes, kind of showing them building our business, kind of what the problems we wanted to solve. So we got a lot of like grassroots following from that. So we
Mhm.
had a lot of brand of affinity pretty early, like net promoter score or whatever. Like when outside people look at ours, they say, "Oh, it's really really high." Um, and so content was always top of the funnel for us. So
Okay.
we would do a
Yeah.
lot of articles which drove traffic. We'd do these hunt films to inspire people. Like we took a lot of inspo from like surfing films or like Red Bull,
Oh,
snowboarding
yeah.
films and stuff like that. Like that was
Yeah.
really new in hunting.
Yeah.
Like the stuff before us was a little like rednecky. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we just kind of tried to like do like a little bit more documentary style and kind of
Cool.
inspire people, get people jacked up.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because if you can build community in your organic first, it's much easier to run ads after you have that community built up. Because then the system can go in and go, "Oh, okay, here's their audience. Let me just go out and serve these people."
That's
Right?
exactly right.
Um, okay, now what about um did you guys run into any issues when you started running like ads? So obviously organic content was good for you guys, all that. But at what point did you start running ads, and what were those at like, were they straight to purchase? Were they more just brand awareness? Like what were you guys doing at first when you got like into the ad space?
Yeah, so we have two main lines of business now. We have a subscription, SaaS, I'll call it a tech consumer SaaS product, annual membership, and that takes a lot of touch points. It's $170 a year. It takes a lot of hard work to market that.
Mhm.
And then we have an e-commerce business, which is really the opposite. It's very straightforward, very transactional, and so from a marketing standpoint, they're very, very different. Um, and I think were you just asking about like running the rules, like
Well, so like yeah, so I guess when you first started marketing, were you afraid you weren't going to be able to run ads for a hunting app, right? Like, was that a fear? What did you guys first start with? Was it Meta? Was it, just IG, or was it, email? Like, what was it to get the word out, like in the digital space for marketing?
Email was big. We had a lot of organic traffic. Email market was big. Podcasts were always really big for us.
Cool. Yeah.
Podcast acquisition. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on a podcast. Like podcasts were
For sure.
biggest acquisition channels. Influencer marketing. We have what we call SMEs internally, subject matter experts, which are kind of like almost internal influencers. That was always big. Third party validation was always really, really big for us. That was all before actual ads. We're super active on ads today, and we're having quite a bit of success. And we can talk about that. That world's changed in real time.
Mm-hmm.
We were pretty fine. We didn't run into any kind of restrictions on the hunting app side. Like, well, it's web only for years. Now it's mostly mobile app. But as long as you don't show like too much blood and too much, you just have to be tasteful. With YouTube content and stuff. On the e-commerce side, we would run into a lot of stuff, right? Because it's I think it used to be machine learning, now it's AI, but like you're not getting a person reviewing everything, right? They have these things. So like when we got into e-commerce and we sold, utility knives,
right?
To take care of an animal in the field, or there's just various products we carry that would get flagged, and then we realized the hard way, like getting into the penalty box is a big deal. It's gotten a little bit better, but like I want to say like 2022 to 2024, like the penalty box would throw off an entire month for us. Like it was a really, really bad thing. And so we had to be very, very careful on that. We've always stayed away from ammo, selling guns. Like that world is a whole different animal. It really restricts your ability to market digitally. And so we didn't want any kind of restrictions. So we're pretty straightforward. We have to be careful of a couple things, but it's not too bad.
That's good. Now, when you say you were in the penalty box, did your ad account get shut down? Did your entire business manager get shut down? Like what, or was it just ads being shut down for you guys?
All of the above.
All of the above.
So we'd be at one point, our entire ads manager got shut down, and we had not done anything different. This is when Meta was like moving the goalpost on people, and it was like it was the most uncomfortable feeling. I think it was shut down for 6 weeks. I have my wife's best friend from high school's husband was pretty high up in Meta. Dude, I had to like call in some favors to be like,
and that's what a lot of advertisers, and I think when you have an e-commerce business and it's like a pet product, you never have to worry about stuff like that. But in your field, like it can like ruin your business if you all of a sudden you have 30, 40, 100K a month in ads, coming in and revenue, and then all of a sudden they shut you down. Like that can be detrimental to your business. And like for us, we're at the highest level of partnership. I can text my partner manager and say, hey, Chris's ad account got shut down. Can you help us out? Oh yeah, let me look at it. Oh yeah, okay, it's all good to go, right? Or ads are being shut down. Let me reverse them because I can get it on a manual review, right? And actually have a human look at it. And but for someone like yourselves who don't have that, and you're lucky you had a connection, man. Like, because if not, like, did he help you?
He helped. He saved the day,
dude. That's sick.
The thing with Meta, like, I think Google does a little bit better job with like the reps. They don't change them out as much. We spend, I don't know the exact number. It's definitely 7 figures though on Meta alone a year. I think it's like 3 or 4. I think. But and you would think that that's going to get you some attention. No, we get a new rep every quarter.
Yeah,
who cold calls you? I'm your new rep. I'm going to change the world. You spend 2 months onboarding them, and then you lose them. It's really frustrating. Like our rep was like, I don't know what to do. I'm sorry, that's a different department. We're like,
oh man.
And so
the marketing reps are pretty much worthless on Meta. It's when you get an account manager or a partner manager, that's where they're a little bit. But even those people, like, we get told all the time, right? Like we've got a partner manager that handles our agency, and like I can go to her for anything. And then we have account reps for the bigger spenders, right? The accounts that are spending quite a bit. And even those like higher level, so they say they are, like they'll even tell us all the time, like, Jason, like you guys know what you're doing. Like I'm here to like support you if an account gets shut down, you've got disapprovals, or you want to come to a private event, like I'm inviting you here. You get to show up and be here and mingle with other brands and stuff. Like, but like as far as running ads go, like there's nothing I can tell you guys that's going to make things better. Like if there's a new product that comes, you guys get access to it, like things like that, right? And I think a lot of brand owners, what they do is they rely on the rep a little too much because they actually don't know how to run ads at a super high level. And what are they doing? Oh, you need to do video views. You need to do this. Oh, and the new AI is coming out. Just turn on all the AI stuff and then let it look completely off brand. Oh, it's okay. No, it's not okay, actually. So Facebook, they're going to push their agenda, but you're so lucky you had somebody that you could lean on, because most businesses just run into this big black hole. And, it's funny, about a year ago, I went to a pretty high level training at Meta. We got invited and we're in the room with like agencies that are running like Ford's ads and Audi's ads and all these, big agencies. There's about, 50 people in the room. And I rose my hand and I was like, hey, so, you literally, Meta has software that reads people's eyeballs, right, and stuff. And we'll talk about something and an ad will pop up in the in our news feed. But why in the hell can a normal business owner reach out to goddamn support and just get a freaking answer, dude? Like you are so complex in some things, but your disapproval process is the most archaic process that I've ever seen, right?
There's no feedback loop. There's no
Yeah.
You don't know what you did wrong. You're like,
You violated policies. That's what you did.
and you're
Yeah.
like, I've ran this exact ad for 2 years. Why is it flat? And then
All of a sudden.
all of a sudden, then it gets approved, but you don't
Right.
know what changed. And so it looks
Yeah.
like, it basically got disapproved for the wrong reason. You didn't actually do anything wrong.
Yeah.
There's no feedback loop. It's
No.
it's very, it's just so subjective.
Well, yeah, and it's archaic, right? It's like, how in the hell can you have a software that, like, I can reach out to my partner manager and I can say, hey, okay, GoHunt's one of our new clients. I need competitor reports. I need conversion data. I need all this stuff, right? But yet an ad gets disapproved, and Chris, you cannot go into the system and just get an answer. Hey, you can't put knives on Meta, right? Like, we don't allow that. Okay, great. I won't do that anymore. Instead, it's just like, you violated our policy. You should know our policy because you're an advertiser. Well, not when your policies are so complex and like, yeah. So, I get a little worked up about that because, and then what their answer was to me in that training? Yeah, hey, let's sideline that after the training and I'll get you some more information. The more information was, oh, we're working on it. I'm like, you guys are, and granted, they're making billions of dollars on ads. Like, that's their number one revenue driver. Like, I get it. And, you guys could be spending $100K a month on ads, and to a normal advertiser, that's like a lot of money, dude. $100,000 a month, like that's some serious cash, right? And let's say you're 2xing it. That's nothing to them, dude. I mean, we ran ads for Microsoft for, about a year at the Xbox division. And you literally have companies like Microsoft, they would email us and be like, hey, Jason, we need to spend $1 million today. I'm like, oh, okay, let me just spend $1 million real quick on some NFL thing at a store you guys have, right? Like, so that's where they're making all their money. And dude, there's no return on those ads. Like, Microsoft does not care if they get a 5x return, and it's just crazy. So I get a little worked up about the whole disapproval thing because it's really frustrating for business owners. I mean, I couldn't imagine not having a contact at Meta to be able to reach out to. So anyways,
what amount do you know what threshold do you have to be spending a month or a year for you to get like premium support? I mean, clearly at some level you do, but
yeah. So here's the thing. I've asked the same question because, like, for example, and I'll give you a real world example today. We have a client that spends $1 million a month on ads, right? We get invited to all these cool trainings and all this stuff. We have a client that spends $30K a month. They get the same support. And I'm like, wait a second. But then I have other clients that are spending $200K a month and they don't have the same support. And I'm like, how are you guys determining like these accounts? Because it doesn't seem fair that my client spending $200K a month has the same level of like support where, we're getting invited to these private events and all this stuff, LA, Texas, Austin and Chicago, New York. But yet the guy spending 30K gets more support than the guy spending 200. Like what's up with that? And they're like, well, we kind of be subjective a little bit about that. We do want to give some advertisers that like needs more support. And I'm like, yeah, but they have us to give them support, right? Like at the agency, like we're kind of handling everything for them. They don't, you know what I mean? And I'm like, but a brand spending 300K a month doesn't get the same support. Like so their answer to me was, well, we try to give everybody a fair shot. And I'm like, that still doesn't help me, dude. Like, and then they're like, okay, well, so just recently, 2 weeks ago, we now have a spreadsheet where we can send our partner manager and say, hey, these guys are spending 100K plus. They need an account manager or partner manager, right? That to support them. Now they're finally, after some like greasing the wheel a bit, these higher tiered clients may get a little more support, but it's nothing's guaranteed. And their answer was just like, well, we have a way we do things and it doesn't always conform to what everybody wants. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not about conforming. It's about rewarding advertisers that are spending a lot more than that 30K a month, right? Like, yeah. So again, kind of another broad answer. Now I have a spreadsheet where I can hopefully get my clients an account manager. But we'll see how that goes, and then we'll get reached out to as well by account managers, and a lot of agencies don't like working with them. I actually like working with them because, number one, you get some really cool support that you don't always get. But yeah, it's interesting how Meta works. Nothing seems to really make sense, but yet they make a ton of freaking money, dude, off ads, and it's crazy, So.
They put all their effort into the delivery, and they're world class at it, obviously. And so that's how they can get away with it, I guess.
Yeah, well, and no real effort into like why are we getting disapproved and helping advertisers figure out like the disapproval process. And I don't know if you've ever pulled up one of their policies, but like it's very hard to read. It's convoluted, and even at an agency, I've been running ads for years and years. Sometimes I don't get it either. I just scratch my head, reach out to my partner manager, and sometimes even she's like, yeah, I don't even know why this was disapproved, or hey, we can't get your ad account back because of X, Y, and Z reasons. I'm like, yeah, but they didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, but the AI caught this and now it's irreversible. So, just go ahead and create a new ad account. I'm like, oh, cool. We'll just start from scratch again.
That's the part that's so scary. That's where I get it's because look, they've done a great job. There's so many businesses that are very reliant on being able to advertise through Meta.
Absolutely.
I mean, like their whole, like a lot of these businesses, they don't have a business without it. It's
Yes.
scary. It's scary.
It is scary. Yeah, and that's why a lot of advertisers are diversifying their portfolio as far as because like, we were having a lot of brands coming to us saying, hey, I just got shut down by Amazon. Like, can I get on Meta? They're diversifying a lot more now. But Pinterest is also a really good platform. You guys should check out Pinterest. I don't know if you're on Pinterest or not, but very big hunting community on Pinterest. The fastest growing demographic on Pinterest right now is like males 35 plus. It's not a female driven platform anymore. So maybe check out Pinterest. We run a lot of ads on Pinterest, and tell you what, I mean, dude, I'm even like, so we run ads for a construction brand that sells tool belts for construction workers, killing it on Pinterest, dude. Like you wouldn't even think they would. DIY truck bumper company, you weld it yourself, killing it on Pinterest.
That's so random.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it's crazy. So try it, see, test the waters on Pinterest. Pinterest does have a really good support system, way better than Meta. Like you'll spend $50 on Pinterest and you have a real rep reaching out to you going, hey, let's jump on a call. Like, let me tell you about audiences and all this stuff. Like they're really good when it comes to customer support, and they'll explain things to you in like normal, like layman's terms, why things didn't get approved or whatever. It's actually a really good platform right now.
Yeah,
So
that's a good tip. We've heard that. I
that'll
think we
change, but
yeah.
yeah.
We're trying to figure out TikTok and have been for the last, I don't know, year or so. We're having mild
Yeah.
success. It's very mixed though. Like we'll have a great month and then terrible month, and we
Mm,
can't. It's not predictable for us yet.
yeah, I mean, you got to have a lot of video content, which sounds like you guys do, but you know, I think Meta and Pinterest are a little more reliable with like the user being on. Um, TikTok is very like up and down, right? Because I feel like your avatar skews a little bit older, not too much older, but like I would say 30 plus. I don't know your brand that well, but if I if you asked me to explain your avatar, I would say 30 plus years old. Maybe I'm totally off there, but
No,
um
30 to 55 is the prime.
yeah, and I still don't think TikTok has enough of those people. Like the guys who are 50 plus on TikTok are probably just like following their grandkids around or like seeing the funny TikTok videos about certain things, but they're not really buying on TikTok just yet. I think Meta, Instagram, Facebook, and then I think Pinterest, they're there as well. But they're not buying as much. Yeah, I do agree with you. I think the buying pattern is fluctuates a little more on TikTok, but
Yeah,
um
good tip though. I'll look into Pinterest. We haven't done that for a while.
yeah, I would look into it. Just check it out. If you need some resources, I can definitely send them to you because we've got some pretty cool partner managers over there. But I could have them look up some info for you on the hunting side. But I've researched the hunting side a little bit, and they got a big communities there on Pinterest. So Reddit may also be another good one for you. We're running some Reddit ads. Reddit is very conversational. Like they trust Reddit a lot for like if you guys come up on Reddit a lot. I don't know if you're doing any like AI SEO on Reddit, but AI refers back to Reddit a lot for information. So if you guys are on there a lot, maybe that's another like kind of play you could do too, is make sure your AI SEO is being tied back to Reddit, post on Reddit organically, and it'll tie back. And yeah, you guys could probably get some good success there. But
Good point.
yeah, I mean, so what does the future look like for GoHunt? I mean, you guys got acquired, right? I don't know if I can say that or not, but but you guys did get acquired, right?
Yeah, we did a couple months ago by a strategic who runs a lot of they're like a government agency, like a B2G business where they work with
Cool.
agencies. And so, yeah, there's a lot of fun projects we can work together. We are a completely separate, though, consumer division of that business.
Mm,
But it's been good. Yeah, no, it lets us kind of reset some things and kind of put together a new growth plan. So where are we going? We need to continue to solve problems, right? So we're kind of the best in class in the West, but we're really not solving a lot of problems for people that are east of the Rockies.
got it. Okay.
And so there's a lot of opportunities for us to be aggregating opportunities and solve problems for them. So that's the
Awesome.
next big
Sweet.
big tranche we're chasing for the next couple of years.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then on your e-commerce side of things, I know we've been talking about GoHunt a lot and the app and everything, but what exactly are you guys doing on the e-commerce side?
Yeah, so we're mixed. We have wholesale and owned brand stuff. E-com is such a different animal than recurring revenue, right? So
Yeah.
it can be very promo where I mean you can go hard in the paint fast, and then you
Yeah.
kind of the dust settles and you go, hey, what did we accomplish? What were the actual margins on that and stuff like that? So we've been pretty disciplined. I mean, really, our e-commerce business is really tied to our subscription business. So if you're a member, you get loyalty points,
Nice.
which is like
Okay.
store credit in the store. So like the 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 membership part of the business is really what drives the majority of e-commerce revenue because there's like so many of those rewards. Um, yeah, we like to be a curated, what we call a curated gear shop. And so we want to deliver you instead of, we don't want to be carrying everything under the sun. So we don't carry 10 brands in the same category. We usually carry 2 to 3 of the best. And then where it makes sense, we'll do own brand where we actually source overseas and actually develop the products ourselves. And that really
Sweet.
comes from like, if we can't get the right inventory of wholesale products or there's not a wholesale vendor that solves a particular category, then we'll go build the category. And so we've had a lot of success with like GoHunt owned brand stuff. A lot of
Nice.
apparel, some gear. We've created some shelters and stuff like that. But that's fun to work on. And honestly, it's easy content because people
Yeah,
love watching us build that. And so it's like kind of an inherent kind of story. And so
that's
it's
cool.
fun to kind of people love watching. Like we'll do a lot of community polls where it's like, hey, we got a debate over here. Like, do you guys like this like dark gray or this olive? And let
Yeah,
we kind of like weigh in on it and be a part of the process. And so, and then
that's
when we
cool.
come out with that color, then they like feel like they were part of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's sweet. And then I think to kind of close things out. So obviously you come from well, GoHunt is an app and everything, but you come from a also a like a gaming background and all that. Have you guys explored App Lovin' at all? Are you guys
Yes.
on App Lovin'?
Yeah, we had a meeting with them at MAU, the Mobile Acquisition Conference here in Vegas, a year or so ago. Their min spends are actually pretty high, so it was hard to test into it. I
Mm-hmm.
think they have a great product. I don't know if it's a great fit for us, but I've heard really good things, and they're pretty savage. And I don't know your connection to them, but they're pretty like as an entrepreneur, I respect their story a lot. Like they came out of nowhere, and they
They
are.
did. Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah. No, we're actually launching our first App Lovin' campaigns here in a bit. And I was just curious because you knew a lot about app stuff, especially in gaming, because that's what they do, right? Like they basically run ad like will serve you an ad once you pass a level or whatever. And so we're actually gonna start running ads on App Lovin'. I'm excited to see how it goes. We're going to do lead gen on there and an e-commerce brand on there. And I mean, I don't think everybody and anybody could be on there, but I feel like GoHunt could do good on there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, they're playing games and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
yeah,
No, we're
yeah,
gonna have to look at that more. I mean, it was a year ago, 14 months ago when we met with them. But no, I see them more and more. I'm making a note of that. Maybe we revisit that. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
it's a great company, and they're savage. Like their revenue per employee, like they do not have that big a team, and they are crushing. I mean, they seem super efficient, and they got good tech. I think they're Israeli based. Like they're pretty badass from what I.
Yeah, and I had like a long call with them and I went in and I kind of built an initial ad and I do like the way the platform functions, like the dashboard. It's not super complicated. It's not like Meta where you have to like turn off all these things. They're making you do all this stuff. Yeah, it's actually yeah, I'll get back to you and let you know how it goes, but it's
Yeah, that's a good call for sure.
yeah, I'm excited to check it out though. And we also just got invited to start running ads on ChatGPT, so we'll see how that goes. But
Ooh,
yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff coming down the pipeline that's gonna give Meta, I think, a run for its money on some platforms, dude. It's gonna be interesting, you
it'll
know.
make Meta better too. Like it'll
Yeah,
keep them hungry. I mean, they've kind of owned the space for a long time now, and
yeah, yeah,
I think they
totally. And I think Meta's gonna buy some of these companies as well, probably. You know how that goes. I mean, they tried to buy Snapchat, and they denied them. So, I mean, they got Instagram and all. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. The next 3 or 4 or 5 years is gonna be interesting for sure.
I'll
So,
tell you, Meta over the last 6 maybe 12 months, it's crazy how fast they changed and how they really want to control the targeting and they want you to just feed them creative and like a lot of people are talking about that, but it's wild how much creative you really got to feed it. And so
yeah, yeah, it's changed a lot.
we're doing a lot better. We hired a growth manager earlier this year, and his job is entirely just feed the machine.
That's cool.
And I mean, we're testing like a couple dozen creatives a week right now. So the cadence, it's kind of hard to keep up with, but we're doing pretty good on Meta, knock on wood today. So we'll see.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, that's great. Well, Chris, thanks for being on, man. I appreciate it. This conversation's been super insightful for me. Thanks for sharing your marketing experience as well and kind of what you guys are doing. I know some brands don't want to kind of open the hood up and and kind of reveal that information, so I appreciate that. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, download the app, go onto your e-commerce store, where do they do all that?
Yeah, follow us on Instagram, YouTube, subscribe. We release a bunch of content. Download the mobile app. We have a web presence as well, gohunt.com. You want to reach out to me personally, it's just Chris, CHRIS at gohunt.com. But yeah, no, I love sharing. I'm a marketer at heart, and we got to share. We got to help each other. This world's changing fast, and so
Yep.
that's part of the game.
Yeah, man. Yeah, totally. And I think my last question, what AI tool are you using the most right now? Claude. Yeah, me too.
I'll tell you what, we have an AI agent. We call him Rob, the GoHunt intern, and we
That's
created
awesome.
him a GoHunt account. We put him on Slack, and people are. It's the first time, like, we've been playing with AI for years, but this is the first time that we actually have an AI agent in our workflows doing work for us. So, like,
That's sick.
there's no data entry being done by humans anymore. There's product detail pages in Shopify are being created from Rob, the intern, and
That's
and
awesome.
we actually just created Bob because we were running through efficiency. But it's crazy. It's our CTOs. It's hard for our CTO to keep up with, like, managing Rob's priority because people
Yeah.
pepper him with things. It's kind of like
Oh, that's funny.
you got to create a task cue board, and, like, he constantly needs to be told what he's supposed to work on. And that's OpenClaw, I believe, OpenClaw on top of Claude, to answer your question.
Got it.
But
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm using in Slack, I'm using Victor. I don't know if you've heard of Victor. Pretty sick. I'm talking like, it's funny. Real world example, about 30 minutes before I jumped on with you, Victor sent me a private message in Slack and said, "Hey, Jason, you have a podcast episode with Chris coming up. Do you want me to do a brief for you?" I was like, "Yes," just to see what it would do. And dude, you know what? I'll send you the brief, and so you can see what it did. I mean, dude, everything about you, like, Go Hunt, all this stuff, background and origin story, what would be good questions for the podcast, like all this stuff. I didn't even have to tell it to do that, right? I just said yes, and it pulled it all up, and it's doing some pretty cool stuff. It's like, hey, one of X ad account is like not doing well. It's off their goal ROAS. Like, you should probably look at it. I mean, it's pretty sick. Like, it's getting a little expensive. It's like $200 plus a month, but right now it's worth it. Like, it's really doing some cool
And so,
stuff.
this is an app that lives on top of Slack? Or wait, what is? I've never heard of Victor. What is?
Yeah, so Victor, you could go to Google and just search up like Victor, the AI employee in Slack, or I can send you some info after. But and maybe I should have Victor sponsor the show because I'm talking so much about it. But yeah, so it's specially for Slack. Like, it doesn't go anywhere else. It just lives inside of Slack. If you guys are big Slack users, we are. And essentially what it does is you install it, and it takes about an hour to learn your entire workspace. And then it literally works. Like, dude, my copywriter was messing around with it the other day just to see what it would do. And it was like, "Hey, Victor, why don't you come up with some ad copy for me? Just, like, whatever." And Victor responds back and says, "You better be careful, Hugo. I'm going to take your job." Right? Like, total banter back and forth. I could not believe it. And wrote some actually pretty good copy. And then Hugo was like, "Oh, you're never taking my copy." Like, they were bantering back and forth. Yeah, you should check it out. Victor,
Wow.
Viktor. And if you're using any type of AI bot in Slack, like, I haven't found one better than Victor yet. And I'm a big Claude user, but it's funny because Claude will now kind of connect with Victor and Slack a little bit, and they'll kind of work off each other. But it's pretty sick. Like, Victor is it's kind of changing the way that we're working in Slack, and a lot of stuff's getting automated. It drops call notes. Like, it connects to, I use Granola for all my call notes. It connects to Granola. It drops the call notes to the client for me after the call. I don't have to do anything. Like, it's pretty sick, dude. Check it out for sure.
I will. I'm on the site. The site looks pretty cool. I will definitely.
Yeah.
Do this. Good tip.
Yeah, like I said, it's about 200 plus a month. We sometimes run out a little bit before, like, the bill is due because we use it a lot. I mean, man, it was like I had a client drop a message the other day and wanted a BDI and a CDI analysis of their Facebook and Google ads. So I went into Victor and I said, "Hey, did you see that message?" "Oh yeah, let me pull up the report for you right now." Like, I saw the message from Dave. Okay, cool. And it came up with this beautifully branded BDI CDI report for me. I sent it to the client. Client was like, "Man, this is sick. Like, thank you so much." And it did pretty cool. So I'm actually pulling all the reports now for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, what the plan is for last year versus this year. And I'll be sending that to clients. So it can do a lot of really cool stuff. It's pretty sick. You should check it out. So,
wow. I'll good tip, man. Thanks. I
Yeah,
got all
anyways,
kinds of
Chris.
notes in this call.
Yeah, hey, me too. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. All right, Chris. Well, thanks for your time today. I know we're a bit over, but yeah, man. Any piece of advice or anything you can offer the audience before we close things out?
Lean into AI and just stay hungry. No one is a professional at this. You're not too late. Just lean into AI, and I think people, especially younger people that are AI native, are going to crush in the workplace.
Crush, dude. Yeah. I mean, my 18-year-old son is like all over AI. I'm like, keep going, dude. So, all right, Chris. Well, thanks. What's that?
I just appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll put all of your information in the show notes as well. Website, your e-commerce site, how to download the app, all that stuff. But yeah, well, love what you're doing for the hunting space. Keep up the good work. And yeah, man, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Talk soon.
Yep.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. We'll see you again next time. Be sure to subscribe to get future episodes.